Hi, I'm John from Just Whiskey. If you like today's show, please click like and subscribe and consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below. And thanks so much for all the new subscribers. I really appreciate the support. Another quick shout out to Flat Cap Whiskey Reviews. And also, I'm curious if anybody else has experienced this problem I'm having with my comments on my channel. When I get most comments go through to where they're supposed to go in the bottom of my episode that you can watch. But I also get an email alert with the full comment on there with an option to reply on my email. And I also receive it as a notification alert. I can see the full comment, and again with a link to reply to it. And this has happened 3 times now, where I see the comment in my email notification, I see it in my alerts notification, but for some reason I'm not able to respond to it. So my apologies to anybody that does comment. I reply to all the comments, and this is just some snafu. So I'm just curious if anybody else is experiencing it. It's very random, no rhyme or reason to it at all. And it's only happened 3 times, but 2 times in the past week, which I think is unusual. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about and reviewing the Glenfarclas 17-year-old, coming in at only 43%. Okay, Glenfarclas, this is the 2020 release. Nowhere on the tube or the bottle does it mention anything about chill filtering or coloring. So we can assume maybe they've done both, which is disappointing if it's true. Glenfarclas is a Highland Speyside Scottish single malt, and in my area it goes for about $130. What I did here, and one is straight and one has just a little bit of water in it. And I know what you're saying. Well, why is he putting water in it if it's only 43%? I'm just really trying to explore it because, to be honest with you, I'm not getting an awful lot out of it. So I really just wanted to explore it. Glenfarclas also, they're a family-run distillery, and they use copper stills that are direct fired, and they also mature their barrels in a dunnage warehouse. So those things all sound great. So here we go. Without water, on the nose. This really needs to open up. A minute in the glass, definitely highly recommend that. This is only, I know I'm losing track here a little bit, but I've opened this bottle 2 weeks ago, and I'm about down to here. So I am a little past the shoulder. I've had 4 or 5, maybe 6 very small wee drams. So 17 minutes in the glass. You really need to take your time with this malt. It really needs time to open it up, and maybe I'm doing it a slight disservice for not reviewing it later on. But I kind of believe, if you watch some of my previous shows, that there is a lot of truth to that for some whiskeys, and maybe this one will really improve. By no means is it a poor whiskey at all. All right, so let's get back to business. On the nose, when you first pour it out of the gate, if you don't let it open it up, you will get an alcohol prominent on here, which leads me to believe, and I'm just speculating, my own opinion. I hate to say tired cask, but I would guess maybe second or third fill. I don't know. I've heard a lot of other reviewers talk about Glenfarclas, and they speculate as well that maybe some of their casks have been well used. But it's just pure speculation on my part. Okay, so this has had time to open up. The alcohol notes have dissipated. And they talk about a prominent butterscotch note. If I really use my imagination, I pick up maybe a slight butterscotch. But I'm picking up fruits. Very fruity. I say very fruity. Fruity, but subdued. But the fruits are there. A little bit of mustiness, which I like. Maybe a little bit of vanilla. It's a very light, delicate nose. Okay, on the palate. A little spirity. You know, a little more, even for 43%, a little more spirity than I would expect for a 17-year-old. So it is definitely smooth, but it does have a little bit of a slight oak bite with a mild warmingness in the chest. So on the palate, spirity, fruity, it's dry, a bit of an alcohol nip to it. I think for me it comes across as a bit soft, delicate. It's a pretty dram. I think anywhere from a beginner to a well-experienced drinker would have no problem with this whatsoever. But I do think it's something you would relax with. You're not getting big, powerful bursts of flavor out of this. Recently, I reviewed the Clynelish 14, and the Clynelish 14, it's 46% ABV, non-chill filtered. Well, I believe it's non-chill filtered. No mention of coloring on the Clynelish 14, but it's a 14-year-old, and the fruits and the flavors and the complexity just jump out at you. Whereas the Glenfarclas 17, you really have to search for them, in my opinion. And also, too, it's apples and oranges, but my next review is probably going to be the Aaron 14, which is discontinued, which is 46% unchill filtered, natural coloring. I know that's an island malt, but I just did it before the show, a little comparison, and the Aaron 14, it just jumps out at you with robust, powerful, fruity, complex flavors, Where the Glenfarclas 17, it's more subdued. It's more buried in there. Okay. With the water, the nose is much more inviting, softer, fruitier. More complex on the palate. I just picked up a little hint of mint or menthol in there as well. Again, the fruits, maybe a hint of butterscotch. The oak spice, a little more pronounced. So go figure. You know I'm not one to really add water to many of my drams, but I think it does a service, and I would recommend for my palate anyway. Even though it's 43% ABV, put a couple of drops, a few drops of water, depending on how big you're going to pour a dram. I think it's and I didn't expect it to do that, but I think you get more out of it. Maybe even, I hate to say, maybe even now, a little a slight funk in there too. When I say funk, from previous shows, to me it's like a barnyard or a wet hay with manure, just very slight. But the water definitely opens it up, brings more out of it, and brings some complexity to it. How would I rate this? I have a feeling once this has more time to oxidize, I have a feeling it's going to improve. I really do. So I'm going to say, for me, an 83 to an 85 without water. And with water, I'm going to say it's more like an 84 to 86. That's my score, and I'm sticking to it. It's a very pretty, pleasant, soft dram. $130. You can get a Klein Leash 14 for anywhere between $50 to in the $70 range most places. I know it's not fair to kind of compare those two really, but I am. Would I buy this again? Probably not. Am I disappointed in it? Not really. I'm looking forward to the journey with it. So that's going to wrap it up. If you like today's show, please click the thumbs up, like. Please click subscribe. Consider becoming a Patreon. And hats off to you all, and take care.